at the global launch for the EducationNatureNexus project, which is a new sort of wonderful project that we're doing around biodiversity with our friends from all over. We have our friends from IUCN joining us. We have our friends from Canadian Wildlife Services joining us. We have our friends from Wild Kenya joining us. Sorry, I just had a little brain moment there, but we have so many friends from conservation, nature, environment on our meeting today to help celebrate the importance of youth voice and youth action around biodiversity. And so in this project right now, we have 26 countries represented, schools from 26 countries. And I know they're not all here today. Some are going to be watching this video online later, and we'll be sharing, but you will see them in the classroom. You will see them in our art. You will see them in all the activities that we're going to go over here in just a few moments. So, I mean, today marks the beginning of an extraordinary journey with biodiversity, and where your voices, your ideas, your actions will shape the future of this planet. And it sounds hyperbolic, right? But we are working alongside decision makers, and we are giving them your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions. You are informing the way that they approach their policy making when they go to COP16. And so your voice can have that impact through this project. So you hold the key to tackling this threat around us, whether it be climate change or pollution or biodiversity loss. It's your energy, your passion, and your creativity that are crucial to making a real impact on biodiversity changes in our that we're experiencing in our communities on a global scale. And so it's through your collaboration and work that we'll achieve some of these together. And it's the power of your voice. If you think, like, as a young person, you have this energy and inspiration and ideas and hopes that maybe some of those who've been working in the field for a long time have. I mean, I think it can be daunting to be involved in these conversations and not feel that passion anymore. And so you can inspire change. We see here time and time again from adults and parents in this program that if it weren't for the inspiration and urging of their children to make change, they wouldn't have had that passion to do it themselves. And so we're bringing you together, and through that sort of synergy of all of your voices from all over the planet, we're going to inspire others to change and have an impact on our planet now, not years from now when you're an adult or voting or the other ways we can make impact. But right now, together, we will kickstart this global, amazing conversation together. And so rah today for the work that you're going to do, the vision that you're going to bring together and share, and the amazing future that we're going to start to create together. And yay you. So let's see. So ENN is, or Education Nature Nexus, is this project where we're bringing together voices to share and learn and build through hearing other people's stories. And all these wonderful countries, plus a few more that have asked to join but are not quite on my list just yet, are coming together, some of them online today, others that'll be online in the classroom or through art or through the conversations that we're having. This morning, we're going to be doing my little welcome here, woo woo, and then we're going to throw over to our friend, Mr. Basil van Havre from the Canadian government, and then our friend, Dr. Megs, is going to join us from Kenya. We're going to go over a bit of what's coming next. What can you expect? What does it involve to be in the ENN program? And then you're going to talk to each other. And that's like the meat, juicy, awesome part of this meeting, where you really get to talk to each other and hear from each other and learn about what your community looks like. And then we're going to close with a keynote from David Ainsworth, the Secretariat for the Conservation of Biological Diversity, which is like, they are the organization that that hosts the COP meetings, that hosts these global high-level meetings where policy change happens. And so he's going to come and welcome you to that conversation. So and then it'll be like this is next. This is what you need to do before you go to bed tonight, except for the Australians. They may go to bed and then do it in the morning. All right. So as we get started, I want to acknowledge that I'm gathering today on Treaty 6 territory. It's the traditional meeting grounds, gathering place and home for many Indigenous peoples, including the Cree, Dene, Nakota Sioux, Saulteaux, Ojibwe, and Anishinaabe nations. I recognize the deep connections of Indigenous peoples to this land and their stewardship of the environment and the rich biodiversity that sustains us all. It's important that we recognize the vital role that biodiversity plays in our lives, in our ecosystems and our cultures, and let us learn from the traditional ecological knowledge of our Indigenous peoples and work together to protect and preserve diverse species, diverse habitats, and natural resources that make our world a thriving and interconnected ecosystem. So first, I'd like to invite our friend and colleague, Mr. Basil Van Havre, to join us and give a little word of welcome from the Canadian side of things, the Canadian Wildlife Services. And Mr. Basil Van Havre has 31 years of experience working in environment in Canada. He has been the focal point for Canada, so like the national lead negotiator guy for the Convention on Biological Diversity. And he is currently Director General of Biodiversity and Partnerships and Director of Population, Conservation and Management at the CWS. Whew, that's a big title. He's worked as the chair of endangered species on the elephant working group, which sounds amazing, and all sorts of, he's worked in water and meteorological services. He's been involved in what I'm saying is he's been involved in environment and biology for a long time, and I cannot wait to hear his message, bringing together his ideas of how youth can really impact this conversation and what does it look like at these higher levels. So thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can see you when you start. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you, yes.
Good time of the day to all of you, and a special thanks for our colleagues in Oceania, who I know are doing those calls in unbelievably inconvenient hour. So my name is Basil Van Have, and Sarah gave a brief description of my career. Let me add a couple things. I am not anymore the Director General of all those fancy things she said. I've left that to others, and I'm now a special advisor to my boss, and which gave me great pleasure and the capacity to delve in many things. The other thing you should know about my career is I basically was away from Canada, the government of Canada, for 4 years as I coordinated the negotiation of the Global Biodiversity Framework. And for those, I work as much for Canada as I work for Argentina, Australia, or anybody, any of the countries that are signatory to the convention. This was a fantastic opportunity. You've seen on the presentation that Sarah's up a picture of myself together with my co-chair, Francis Ogwal from Uganda. We worked side by side and literally side by side for 4 years, and this was a great experience. So I've been lucky. I think Sarah talked about the Treaty 6 and the Anishinaabe Nation where I am too, here in Ottawa region. And what I like to do instead of the standard acknowledgement of the right is tell you a little bit of a story of what that means for us here in Canada and what that may mean for you in many other parts of the world. I have recently worked in developing a Nature Accountability and Transparency Act, which is basically a legislation that will stipulate how Canada will be doing its plan. And this is the first legislation that we've developed using what is known as the UN Declaration of the Right of Indigenous People. So we're not consulting anymore. We're co-developing with Indigenous people, and that's not the same. So it's a difficult process. We're learning on both sides each other. We're lucky to have people with great patience and a lot of knowledge. And I truly believe that we're engaged into a process of reconciliation that is essential to the well-being of our country and to the rest of the world. Now, the issues we're facing. We're here today to talk about nature. And through, if you pick up the Global Biodiversity Framework, or if you look at the website, you will see that nature is a complex issue. It is different from climate in the sense that climate, basically you can boil that down to the 1.5 degree or the 2 degrees that you may have heard of. And I'm not saying that you all have to agree to that, but those are simple concepts that are easy to communicate. We don't have that for nature. Nature is a constellation of different issues that has to be addressed together. Yesterday, I was talking to a group of people involved in finance from North America and Europe, and they were focusing on how do we use private sector money to advance the issue of land degradation and land restoration. Then they went on to talk about how in the agriculture, issues like pesticides and nutrients are important, and they're not land, an issue about whether you do with a square miles or square kilometers of land. And that deal with a different targets in the system, which is about reduction of pollutants. So the message I want to give to you is that all the targets are important. How we manage the activity we carry out on the landscape, how we make decisions about what we do with the land that is ours and the sea, how we engage into consumptions. All of us at the individual levels make everyday decisions. How you're going to get from home to school, how you're going to get to visit your friends, what kind of lunch or treats you buy yourself when you get out of school. So think about that and think about, I'm not telling you you should not do all those things and you should live a very poor life. Live a happy life, but make decisions that are sustainable. Try to choose those things that you want to buy that are sustainable and come from sustainable sources. One thing I've noticed through the many years I've been talking to various groups is we talk a lot about the difficulties ahead of us. We don't talk enough about the future we want. I'm convinced that the future we want, the one we will be building through my action, but your action also use, is one that is better, one that is a future that's going to be healthier, safer, and I would give you what you need to be prosperous and happy. So and that's the job you will have as youth, is to describe that future and convince people, grown-ups like me, that it is worth making efforts now for that better future. And now turning to the third point in what I wanted to do is, why is it important that you engage and why should we spend time talking to each other? You will see that day-to-day circumstances and the politics change in countries. This year, this period now is a fantastic period where there is election for more than half of the humanity. And decisions are very short-term. I can see that politicians are looking at 3-4 years. You, the youth, are looking at your whole life in front of you, and you worry about what is being done now in terms of how it's going to be influencing the future. That's what we call intergenerational equity. And having worked side by side with youth organization in biodiversity, I've came to understand those concepts quite well, and I've been trying to reflect them in documents where I can, including in that proposed new act that we have here in Canada. So basically, this is that notion that the decisions that are made today are influencing your life, not necessarily my life. I may not be around. You will be around a lot longer than I will be, and that's fine. And that's why you should take care of ensuring that you prepare yourself for the future, but you understand the issue and make your views known. That's very important. At the CBD, we've always had a room for use in our debate, and we gave the floor in all meetings to use when in appropriate time and in appropriate lengths of time. But I strongly believe that if you should be engaged, you should be aware, you should interest yourself into all those issues, and you should make your opinion worth and heard. So I'm really looking forward to see the rest of your debate. I'm truly excited to see all the various diversity and the various countries involved in this initiative. I'm looking forward to hear and read more about your initiative. I cannot stay for the whole event, but I'll stay as long as I can. And I'm looking forward to read the outcomes. So thank you very much, and back to you, Sarah.
Well, thank you so much for bringing those sort of different layers of what's going on, and what does this actually look like at levels outside of what our students are familiar with, because we're really embedded in the education and the day-to-day and what we see in our community, but there are things going on at different levels that we aren't aware of, and part of this process is understanding how people are working to make change, whether it be in policy or in procedures and other sort of levels that aren't sort of within our normal day-to-day operating, and then how do youth sort of feed their thoughts and their passions and their ideas and their demands for change into that cycle. And so it's good to, I think, to open up those layers of communication so that it's not so hierarchical, but that there really is this opportunity, as you said, for intergenerational conversations and contributions. So thank you so much. I'm going to share again here, just quick to introduce our next wonderful friend who's joining us. She said that we can call her Dr. Megs because that is what her students call her. And she is a teacher at heart, with the, of course, CEO and leader of the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya. But Dr. Megs is also a holder of a PhD in climate change and education for sustainable development, and a master's in environment and in development. And in 2020, she was awarded the prestigious Brennan Medal as an outstanding educator dedicated to nature and conservation. She is passionate, hands-on environmental educational professional and is driven by the belief that sustained education from grassroots to leadership is the single most important element. So I think she is going to love meeting you guys, and I think you guys are going to love meeting her and the work that she's doing in Kenya, but also as you can see here, she's the deputy chair of IUCN, which is the international, I'm going to not get that right because I'm thinking about a million things. International Unit for the Conservation of Nature, but CEC, I believe, is the education component of that. And so as the chair of that, she's going to love meeting you and you're going to love meeting her. So Dr. Megs, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, that is such a flowery introduction. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I am indeed excited to meet all these young people. And I want to tell the young people, first of all, that there's nothing like the future belongs to you. The present belongs to you, because you have a right to think that the right decisions concerning biodiversity and environment are made, because that is what you're going to inherit. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Margaret Otieno, but you can call me Meg. And I work for the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, which is the first youth grassroots hands-on conservation organization in Africa generally. And it's through the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya that other countries came to benchmark and started their own, like the Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, of Tanzania, of Ghana, and even of India and Seychelles. So it's a very successful organization that we run that empowers people. I'll start off by telling you my own little story. I was a member of the Wildlife Clubs from the time I was 9 years old. So, and it gave me an opportunity to see wildlife for the first time, and helped me to develop my passion for conservation. So what you're doing by engaging in conservation is going to impact your futures positively, whether you'll go directly into a career within the conservation space, or you'll go to other supporting careers, whether you want to be a lawyer, whether you want to be a teacher, whatever it is you want to do, you are on the right path. So the challenges of biodiversity loss, environmental degradation, climate change, and all that is overwhelming sometimes. And it means that you young people must learn as much as you can so that you can have a voice and demand for a space so that the right decisions are made, and you express what you feel about it. You can no longer sit back And I'm really glad, because your generation is that generation that doesn't just sit back. Your generation goes for it and demands that the right things are done, the right decisions are made. Learning and participating in a conservation initiatives is very important for your existence right now. That's why I say that I am not going to tell you that the future belongs to you. We are talking about now and even the future. Your futures, I know right now when you think about it, when you think about your future families, your future children and your grandchildren, you're thinking, there isn't going to be anything like that. It looks so distant. But yes, we are expressing our concern, and you want action to be taken to take care of your current existence and even for your future. So over the years, my work, not just at the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, because I've worked in several organizations. And one of the reasons that I love the giraffe is because I worked at the Giraffe Center, and our main focus was the Rothschild giraffe. And I grew very, very close to the giraffes. I really understood them, and I could imagine why people are destroying their habitats and why some people are killing them. Because I grew, in love with them, and I just really, really love them. So over the years, my work has involved making children and young people like yourselves aware of and building their capacity to take action for conservation. I hope you're all aware about the Nobel winner, Wangari Maathai. She said we should all do our little thing. And when you think about yourselves as children and as young people, you always imagine that what you're talking about is not going to be impactful. Now, I have news for you. Whatever little you do is going to impact not just your community and your country, but the entire world. So what is this little thing that you're going to do as a young person, and how are you going to go about it? So because of that, I will take you through some of the activities that children at the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya are doing to make sure that they do their little thing, okay? So I'll start with home. What can you do at home? What are you doing at home? Maybe you're doing some of these things, but I want to just remind you in case you're not doing them, and also for the sake of people who are not already doing them. Switching off lights. When you leave a room, switch off the lights. That is your little thing that you will have done. Turn off the taps if you're brushing your teeth. Brush your teeth. When you're while you're brushing your teeth, don't let the tap run. Switch it off. Very little, but you will have conserved water. Then there's something you can do about water conservation. If you are in a position, can you collect water, rainwater harvesting? And could you do a bit of gray water recycling? The water that has been used for the final rinse of the dishes is very good for watering the plants by the doorstep or your potted plants. And plant your flower gardens at home, or your potted plants if you're living in an apartment. Can you imagine how many insects, especially pollinators that will visit and increase and improve the biodiversity of your area? How about you put out a bird feeding table next to the in your backyard, and bird baths, and encourage birds to come there? Simple things like waste management. reuse, reduce, and recycle. You can do that. The other thing you can do is composting. Get hold of the organic waste and compost that either indoors or outdoors. What about in the school and in the school communities? What else can you do? Tree planting or tree growing, as we prefer to call it. Plant trees if you can. And especially if you can plant fruit trees, then you'll make sure that there is going to be lots of fruits in future, if not for yourself, but for the kids who will join your school later. So plant trees and take care of these trees. Soil erosion control. If there is a lot of soil erosion in your house, it means we are losing the top soil. And it means that there's going to be gully erosion. It's very simple. Just Google. You know, you are the generation that is so tech savvy. You can get all this information and control the movement of the soil within the school compound. Waste management in school. Don't waste so much paper. And organize your waste in different bins so that you reduce the amount of rubbish within the school compound. You can also do composting within the school. But most important, please read, research, and enjoy nature. Get connected to nature because that's the only way you want to take action for it. Teach others. Don't keep the knowledge that you have with you. Organize campaigns with your classmates, simple, peaceful campaigns to create awareness about things like climate change because they are impacting biodiversity. Organize campaigns about desertification. Teach people about pollution. Finally, learn about endangered species and teach about them. Now, the other thing that I wanted to tell you today is that you are very strong. You have a strong voice, especially in Africa. The youth make up at least 60% of the population. So this is the generation that is going to change the world. We know about the wealth of biodiversity in Africa. So if the young people in Africa can do something about it, then even the young people globally are going to benefit. So I'm calling upon all the young people to take action, take charge, make your knowledge known out there and make use of it by influencing policies. Start at the school level and make sure that the right thing is being done. And when the time comes for you to select your careers, choose green jobs. And if you can't go directly into green jobs, then whatever job that you select, make sure that the kind of policies that you will influence, the kind of decisions that you're going to make are sustainable. We can have a sustainable engineer, a sustainable doctor, a sustainable teacher, and any area that you have, you will make decisions in future as people who are conscious, who are aware about the impact of your activities on the environment and biodiversity. So I'm really happy to have had this opportunity to talk to you. And I look forward to hearing more about the future of this project. I look forward to hear about each one of you and how much you'll have done to impact conservation of biodiversity and everything else that is degrading. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Meggs, for bringing that. I love the different message than you brought that from our first guest and really focused on what kids can do now. It doesn't take huge actions. We can all make small changes every day in our homes that make impact, and in our schools and in our communities that have results that are important. And all of us working together is what comes together. And I think that's one of the strengths in this project, is that you're not alone. And you can see, like, I look at my screen right now and I see passionate kids from all over the world. And so if you make a change in your school, you're not the only one taking that action. There are all these other kids from all over the world, and many who aren't even online right now, who are wanting and doing the same thing. And together, that's the action, that's the impact. And so we were going to do some more talkie, but I think now we should turn it over to you, and I'll do the program talkie after. And so before we get going, though, we have all three of our keynotes, I think, still online, and we have everyone from every classroom for sure. So we're going to do our picture now, and so that we can make sure that we get everyone in. We're going to do one with just like smiles, and then we're going to do one that's like hands up for habitat. So my lovely colleague Rebecca is going to be our wonderful photographer. And so she's going to count us down here, but there's 3 screens of people. There's like over 60 people, 60 rooms logged in, lots of youth online today. So turn on your screens right now, and we have to hold our smiles for a bit and then hold our hands up for a bit, because she's got to scroll through everyone. So
lots of you are turning on your cameras. I like it. We're getting pretty. Yeah. You look great.
Nice.
I can tell some of you are not happy you've had to turn on your camera. I can see it in your eyes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to count down. I'm going to count down from 3, and we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and I want you to put your hands up and say habitat. Okay, so we're going to do hands up for habitat. Okay, now I can only do one hand because I also have to take the picture, but you can do both hands if you have both of your hands. If you don't have a camera, that's okay. We'll still be able to see your name. Okay, all right. Hands up for habitat in 3, 2, 1. Habitat. Beautiful. And we can do one where we're just smiling if you guys want to give me a nice smile as well. Yeah. So cute. Thank you. Thank you. You guys look great.
Amazing. Yay. Thanks, everyone. I wanted to get that while we had the Max people and our wonderful keynotes and everything like that, just in case anyone has to jet early. Now, I will remind you that if you do have to leave, we're recording this. We're going to have it up on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch it later. And so there's that. We'll be sharing it with the new schools that weren't able to come today.
Water goes to one place. They tried to redirect this, and when they redirected the rivers, so they didn't think it through. So what happens is when it rains a lot, the water backs up back into these low-lying residential areas, and it floods really badly. And people who live in these areas cannot leave their homes to go to work or go to increased these past few months. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're in, you know.
Okay. When because I think my internet froze.
Yeah, you're cutting out. I didn't hear what you said just now.
Did you hear what I said about flooding?
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay, can you go to the next slide, please? Our school has taken part, collaborated with Miara Waves project. This project works on cleaning the beaches. So
we
here
might have to move to a different presenter just so that we have time to get through them all, because I think with the audio issues, it's not quite working. Do we have somebody else that's able to? Sorry, I know that kind of sucks. Is there anyone else from Trinidad in this room?
Yes.
Would you be able to quickly do the last couple just because we only have a couple minutes left in the breakout room?
All right, sure, no problem. Although I'm not too familiar with the presentation, but all right. Because it was actually our Form 3s that made this, like Ethan. So, yeah. So in QRC, we have a program going on, the QRC Blue Radio, which we are currently training young men to, actually manage an entire radio station by themselves. We have a whole room set up, a soundproof room, and in that way we're using media to help combat this, the climate changes and the effects and to bring awareness about it. I have a picture of a few people we see on the left there, we can see Ethan. So yeah. Come on, we go to the next slide, please. All right, so at Queen's College, we have a very own freshwater pond. Members of the environmental club take it upon themselves to clean this pond. And here at QRC, when one stands for something, we all stand for something. Once it is for the betterment of our earth, right? So we have a picture there on the bottom right-hand side of some of our upper sixers who are sadly leaving us. They're cleaning the pond. And the pond itself, it's like a tiny universe. We have, numerous ecosystems that have come about because of this pond, starting from the producers, plants, there's algae or whatever that starts growing. Then we have coming up the wanted and unwanted, microbacteria, mosquitoes. And we have our most notable thing in the pond is the fishes. We have a whole entire school of fish. I don't know what kind of fish it is, but yeah, I know we have some fishes in there for sure. All right. Is that next slide? And this is a picture of
Just a minute, Christian. Jonathan said that we have tilapia and guppies.
tilapia and guppies, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a picture of Queen's Royal College. In Trinidad, we have some magnificent 7, and Queen's Royal College is one of them. We see there on the bottom left-hand side our school bus. Yeah.
Awesome. I would have not have known that you didn't know that presentation. That's so great. Thank you so much. Is there any groups in here that have a presentation ready that haven't shared yet? Because I think we have 2 more minutes to quickly do another one.
Yeah, I've been trying to coordinate this, Rebecca. So Indonesia is the last one, but I guess we're not going to have time.
We could maybe Indonesia. Did you want to quickly share what your favorite part of your biodiversity is?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks good.
Oh wait. Okay.
Hello everyone. First of all, it's an honor for us to able to participate in COP launch program this time. Introducing, my name is Naura and my friend.
And I'm Amelia Ratne, usually called
Or sorry, for the Secretariat of CBD. Oh my goodness, there's just so many people joining us today that I'm getting everyone and their locations confused. But David Ainsworth is the information officer for the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity and the focal point for the United Nations Decade on Biodiversity. He led the team that implemented the marketing campaign for the International Year of Biodiversity in the past. And David works inclusive support of the identification and creation of indicators on public awareness. And so, I mean, this is his jam, like talking to citizens and that are engaged and excited and passionate about making change around biodiversity, about impacting their environment, about impacting their communities. This is his thing. And so he was excited to join us today to really hear from you and see your passion and see your desire to make change in the world. And so I've invited him to say a few words on behalf of the CBD and to join us in our conversation today. But remember to stay after, because this is not the end. We got just a little bit more that we're going to roll through this morning. All right. Dr. David, thank you for coming. Over to you.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much, Sarah. And hi, everybody. So, Sarah, just remind me, because you're under time, how long would you like me to speak for? Because I want to make sure we got time for everything.
Like 5 minutes would be amazing.
That's fine. Perfect. That sounds good. Okay. So, hi, everybody. So, I have had a chance to hear some of your conversations, to look at the things going on in the chat, and to see images of all of you from all over the world. And I love this stuff. I mean, I've been working for the United Nations now for about 20 years. And I'm always inspired by people from around the world connecting, coming together, joining, having conversations. It's just, it's really, it just gives me goosebumps. And so seeing you all doing that as well is really great to look at it. So I'll just talk for a couple of minutes here about, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to make an invitation to all of you. And it's an invitation that some of you might have heard of, haven't heard of you as before. And I'm going to invite you all to be part of the plan, and that is the biodiversity plan. So you're like, oh my gosh, Dr. David, what is this? What is this biodiversity plan we're talking about? So maybe just a little bit of a background. So Sarah pointed out that I work for something called the Convention on Biological Diversity. So that's a big technical name. But what it is it's one of the big agreements that the world made way back, even when I was a kid, in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. And so the Convention on Biological Diversity is a big treaty that just about every country in the world signs up to. And they agreed to do this because they said, listen, we know that the biodiversity, the nature of our planet is important. We need to do things to make sure that we conserve it, we keep it there, all the species, all the ecosystems. We also need to make sure that we use it sustainably, because we know that people around the planet, they need nature for their livelihoods. It's part of who it gives us our richness. And so they need to make sure when they're doing it, they're using it sustainably. And then the third part is they said, listen, while we're doing all of this, let's make sure that we're sharing the benefits from all this nature of the planet fairly, with equity. And so that's what this agreement is. The country said, yes, let's do this. So for decades now, they've been working on and talking about what this should mean for different ecosystems. How do we protect the forests of the planet? What do we do to reduce our impact on the ocean? How do we make sure that when people are, using wildlife from ecosystems, they're doing it fairly? And so they've been coming up with these and making plans and figuring out how to do it around the world. And so the latest thing they do is something called the Biodiversity Plan. Now, of course, this is something I should have checked before. What I want to try to do is actually share just a couple of images so you can see what we're looking at here. Now, can you guys see? Maybe Sarah, I'll just have you let me know if you can indeed see that little slide. You can?
I can.
Great. Okay. So the biodiversity plan, that's what it's about. So this is something that was agreed back in snowy Montreal a couple of years ago. They agreed that, right, this is what the governments of the world should do. And where that comes from, can you see another slide now? Is that working out? Perfect, good, sounds. So what that was is about 4 years ago now, so when all of you participants here were younger, in the General Assembly, and look, that's a picture of the General Assembly Hall, which is a fabulous place, I've been there. They're saying, like, you know what? We need to make sure that we take action and save biodiversity on our planet. And so they said back then that's what we should do. And so they set in motion this whole process where the government said, okay, let's get together, let's talk about what that means. And they came together in snowy Montreal in 2022 and agreed on this biodiversity plan. So what is the plan here? So the plan says, okay, you know what we need to do? Let's act quickly and let's act urgently to put nature back together, to help reverse the things we've done to it before, and then all these different ways so that we're setting ourselves back to make sure that we're living in harmony with nature. So this plan is a whole way that we can move forward on it together to do these things. So what does the plan do? Well, the plan has a lot of these. I've got this kind of a technical slide, but let me just say, it says, you know what? When we do this plan, let's make sure we recognize that people understand nature differently and they have different values of it. You're from all over the planet. You know what nature means for you and your families, and it means similar but different things across the world. We need to also make sure we do this is that we take the idea of human rights, that people have a right to a healthy planet and a healthy environment, including you. We talk about the idea that biodiversity is about health, that we're trying to keep our health, the health of animals and the health of plants and the planet together as well. We recognize that Indigenous peoples and local communities have a part to play in it, that the role of women and girls is important to be recognized, and that different gender approaches are required. Intergenerational equity, and that brings me to you as well, that we need to make sure that what we're doing now is about your future as well. And then this last part, whole of government, whole of society, everybody's involved. And that's what I'm going to talk about with all of you in just a minute. So what the plan does, and so here, you're getting a technical slide. So the delegates in our meetings, this is the kind of slide they see. So get ready for it. Should you choose to be a delegate somewhere down the line, you'll see what this looks like. But what the plan tells us is, it says, okay, right at the top, that little thing says a vision. What are we doing? So what do we want to do? Well, by the middle of the century, by the time that you folks are all adults, we want to make sure that we're living in harmony with nature so that we take from it, give back from it, and there's a balance for us. How are we going to do that? Well, we want to do these certain goals that we've got. And you see the goals up there, we talk about it. We need to protect and restore nature. So let's take care of the species, the ecosystems. The ones that are degraded, let's bring them back. Let's help make those ecosystems healthy again. Second of all, let's prosper with nature. Let's make sure when we do it that we're all benefiting from these wealth. We make sure that we get food from it, we get shelter, we get all the things we need. Third of all, we want to make sure we're going to share benefits so that when we use nature, everybody gets an equal part of it too. And then finally, let's make sure that everybody around the planet, the businesses, banks, and are investing, and everyone's collaborating to make it happen. So we're going to make sure that we turn this tide on losing biodiversity. Now, there are a lot of complex targets for this, and somewhere along the line, you should look at them, because these targets actually, even if they seem technical, a lot of them have got parts that you can do. Just like the discussion you got from Margaret before, there are things that you can do as well. So I'm not going to go through them today. It's a discussion we'll have later on. And those of you who are going to be following us at our meeting, you can look at it. But there's all these different things that you can do to make them happen. I kind of like to show the targets because if you'll notice, you see those 23 little pieces there? They're all actually components and parts of the big logo. So you see that big logo, it's got 23 parts. Well, down here, they're put there together. I think it's really clever. I really like it. That's something we put down. So that's what we're looking at. The other part, just to quickly say too, is that by doing this, you're contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. This work that we do is a linkage to what happens on this 2030 agenda as well. So if you carry out this plan, you can do it as well. So my little plea, and we'll talk about it here in a minute, is I want you all to be part of the plan. So now, what can that mean, saying that you're going to be part of the plan? So for that, now, how do I stop sharing? I'm going to try to stop sharing now so you can see my face. Where do we have it here?
There should be like a red stop share.
Stop share, stop share.
I can also, I think, stop for you.
Where is it there? Okay, because you can't see me. Here I am under tight time pressure. And I've already lost it here. Let's see here.
There you go.
Oh, you've been unshared. Thank you for taking control back.
There you go.
So, okay, so what I'm indicating to you is that, so there's this plan that's out there and it calls upon everybody to be involved. And it means we've got to do things to make sure that we're saving species and ecosystems, that we're using things sustainably, and inviting you all to be part of it. And in some ways, Margaret covered a lot of the things before of what you can do. And so it's about actions that you can do yourselves personally to reduce your consumption. It's about actions you can do personally to connect with nature. And I know that's an important part of all the work that we do, and even for me too, is we need to sort of connect and make sure we understand nature. It's about you reaching out to people around you, reaching out to your friends and to your families, so that you're being part of this big picture. And it is also about all of you getting active. And this is the part that for some people is controversial, but you need to be politically active as well. You need to raise your voices and saying, like, there are things that we should be bringing on board. There's an interesting study that came out, I think, about a month ago that said that around the world, everybody goes, you know what, I think that sustainable development and protecting nature is important, but I don't think everybody else does. And so I'm not sure I should raise my voice. But that study found out that actually the majority of people believe this is important, but they all believe that they're alone. And so that's why this voice of raising it, of saying, like, you know what, I think that living sustainably, treading lightly in this planet, working with nature it's part of your mission as well. And, you're in school now. You will be in university soon. You will be these future leaders. But everything starts now. You're a citizen now. You're here to be part of all of this as well. And so that's what I'm calling for you to do. Now, I won't talk for too much longer because a whole bunch, because I'm assuming that the bunch of you are going to be with us on this journey, whether it's online or in person at our upcoming meetings and stuff like that, and working on this. And so part of this is your job as students and peoples to integrate all of this idea into what you do for your education. You're active people there. You've got to speak up. You've got to be involved. And so your part of the plan can be a lot of things. It can be the things that Margaret talked about, the basic things about washing your dishes, the way you use water, the clothes you choose, the food you eat, the things you say to your parents, the things you say to your teachers, and getting ready to be involved. All the different careers that you can do in your life will have an impact on biodiversity. Whether or not you become really involved in the nature area or you've got other careers, your choices will make a difference as well. So, and that's what I want to call you, to be all part of this plan and take your actions and activities. This is my first chance to meet you. I know it's not going to be the last. I'm looking forward to having other conversations, but also hearing your conversations moving forward. So I'm just going to start with that. So thank you for letting me join you today. And I look forward to this just being the beginning of our friendship, of our traveling together in trying to build a sustainable future, a future of life in harmony with nature. Thanks, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really couldn't be doing this work without our partners at CBD and IUCN and around in nature and education groups around the world. And it's these partnerships that will build towards these change, this momentum that we're generating here today even. Okay, so I know we're over. I just want to take a couple of seconds to say what is next. So you've been here, you've had this amazing launch, you've heard from these inspiring speakers. What is happening next and how do you stay involved? We have 6 ways that we're going to keep you hooked to this journey. So the first is our global biodiversity classroom. Now, we were on Flipgrid, but Flipgrid has let us know that they are shutting down service. They are out of the online classroom business, and so we're moving to Padlet. We have uploaded all of your videos there. The only thing is the comments that you made on each other's videos, they're gone now. But you can go in, I'm gonna go in today and put my comments and stuff that I for some reason did last night on Flipgrid, knowing that we were closing. So go in there, watch the videos, comment, and what I love to see is when you watch a video, your job is to watch at least 3 videos from kids in not your country and comment on it. How is it the same? How is it different? Ask a question. Get into conversations. This is the awesome part about this project is you don't learn about just biodiversity in your community. You get to learn about it from other kids in other countries too. And that's the richness of this, is you now have friends all over the world that you can reach out to and talk to about these things and learn from them. Don't learn from a textbook, learn from each other, learn from your storytelling and the things that are important to you. So get online. There's a QR code.
Can I share something quickly about it too, Sarah, before you go on to the next one? I did download and re-upload the videos you all did to Flipgrid, but I did it late last night, so I haven't double checked. So if you're like, my video's not there, you're welcome to upload it yourself, but I'm also going to go back and just check and make sure I copied them all over. And before we leave today, now would be a good chance to go in and like a couple videos and add a comment while we're just finishing up today. So just a little reminder for you.
Exactly. So view this little QR code with your fancy phones, or go into the Padlet CG Education ENN link and do that today. Art. This is the second way to be involved. Art is now open. We're taking art submissions. Here is the link, both on our website and then here another BUE code. We would love to showcase your art. We will have an art exhibit at COP where we will talk about it in like 2 seconds. And we would love to take art from around the world. These are just a few of the things that we've captured over the years. Actually, this one from Anne, I think, was just at a recent climate summit here. And so that's brand new, but we would love to showcase it. If it will be on our website, it will be on our global gallery. But it can also be in person at COP. We would love to bring and showcase it there. Here's some other amazing pieces that we've had over the years. It does not have to be grade. You need to be you need to still be in secondary school. You can be over 18 as long as you're still in high school. But it can be down to elementary. So if you're looking for a way to connect with littler kids in your school, why not run an art workshop around biodiversity with one of the teachers and talk about the environment, talk about animals, talk about what threatens animals in your community, and have them do some art to submit to us. We have a whole workshop that we have the lesson plan, the activities for. You can just hand it out and walk kids through it. This could be an amazing way for you to connect with other kids in your school or in elementary school that is nearby.
One thing too, photography counts as well. I know some of you are into photography. Do you have some great nature pictures? Please upload those. I would love to see them.
That would be amazing. And then weekly social media challenge. So we have students who will be mentor students on this project. I see a few of them online today, but one of our lead mentor students, Sean, is here with us from Canada, and he was involved in a COP project last year or the year before, and is going to be helping sort of facilitate these things. But we're going to have weekly social media challenges where we want to see your answers to the questions that we want to keep this in people's minds, on people's hearts. And so you will see those. So that's another way. And then the writers retreat in September, when we're all back, because all of the schools are sort of around about that time of year. Again, if you are on a break and I didn't know about it, we can shift these days by a week or two. Not a big deal. We want your school. We want you to be involved. You can also join from home. There's no need for you to be in school for this, but because it's on a weekend, if we get everyone together in a crazy Zoom 48-hour writing frenzy, Rebecca and I never sleep, and we're just up writing all time. But this is our chance to make a global statement around what are the priorities, the concerns around biodiversity, and we'll have a theme that we focus on and build that global declaration to bring to COP. And that leads us to COP. This is a carrot, and not everyone will get the chance to go to COP, but you all get to communicate with other schools. There'll be bilateral pairings, so you'll meet some of the kids that were in this room today. You'll be paired with them for shared time where you are dedicated in that exchange, in that learning, in that conversation. But that if you're inspired to contribute at a global level to this conversation, you see yourself as a leader in your school, in your community, and you want to represent your voice and the Global Declaration in Colombia, let your teacher know. We have the application form. We are inviting a student and a teacher from each country to join us at the conference. And so we want to help your voices be heard. And there'll be a leadership component. So we'll be doing activities, we'll be doing learning, we'll be visiting schools. We have an eco-knowledge fair. So that's where if you have, say you're in AP seminar, you're in IB, or you're in an honors program, and you've done a research project, we would love to showcase a poster of that at our Eco-Knowledge Fair at COP. And so this is COP. I sort of introduced it below, but the Conference of Parties is the sort of the decision-making body around biodiversity. And they will be meeting this fall in Colombia for their next iteration of their meetings. And so we will be bringing students together to represent a child voice. Now, child in Canada, the word child, can be sometimes seen as like not a celebratory word, but we embrace the word child when we're in these UN conversations because youth is 18 to 35. And that thinking that someone who is 34 or 33 perhaps has a PhD can really represent your voice and your concerns and your ideas around maybe biodiversity education isn't entirely authentic. What we need is your voice, your real experiences right now informing these conversations. And this is your chance to come to this conference and really sort of represent not just you. It's not just you at COP. It's you are representing all of the students in your school, all of the students in your community, and championing those ideas at this level. And so we are super excited. Again, anytime you have a conversation, I believe through Padlet, you'll be able to reach out to Rebecca or I, but your teacher can also reach us. There's lots of ways to get in touch with us if you have any questions on any of these. Oh, see, we were going to do it the other order. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. We are over by 15 minutes because that is how we roll with some of these events when it's exciting and engaging and we want to talk. Thank you to all of my friends who joined us today, all of our amazing guest speakers from the Canadian Wildlife Services, from Kenyan, from the Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, from CBD, from IUCN, and from all of our schools, our Australians and Philippines and Indonesia and Kenya and Trinidad and Tobago and Madagascar and everyone, Argentina, everyone online today who has joined us and shared their ideas. I cannot wait. Please get onto that new classroom. Share your thoughts. Do activity 1 is the introduction. So kind of what we did today, but it's your chance to feature your thoughts and your ideas. And then as we move into activity 2, which is debates, I want to see sort of the outcomes of those. I think the debates are super awesome, where you have to really think like, what is the other side of this with this, and what are the arguments for and against. And then the last activity is around conservation management, and what does that actually look like? What are the struggles? What are the barriers to making these changes, and how can we think about those and think about solutions? And so I can't wait to see all of your responses across the board. And then, of course, everything that is to come. So you have 6 ways to contribute. 6 ways to contribute. And we're looking so much forward to seeing all of that online. Thank you, my friends. It has been a wonderful hour and a bit. And I really appreciate the time that you gave, whether you're in Australia and it's now after midnight, or you're here in Canada and we're just starting our day. Have a wonderful one.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye.
We'll see you online.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, nice.